Hey, salam alaikum. Alaikum ba Quenda and Sara. Que Zambia locutara con mucho más Jiménez y que buena sombra locutara con mucho más Jiménez. Salam alaikum, cuadrilla Congo. Buena noche, go, saludando, buena noche, go, saludando, buena noche, termine, buena noche. Anyways, as you know the title of the video, reading from a distance. It's a Quenda, it's a not Quenda. For me, it's Quenda, meaning for me, I agree with that. Because if I can agree that, if I have to agree that I could remove a muerto from a distance with a bottle, or send the muerto to go do healing work, or to go do some damage, then I have to agree with reading from a distance. Or I'll be, or I then don't agree with trapping a muerto with a bottle. See, when we have Ngangas, there's a thing that a lot of people nowadays don't have, that Tratado. And that's the little piece of bamboo that we filled out with um, some Tratados with Calunga, including the sand, the Calunga, Lango, and what's the thing called? Well, I can't say the name, the little silver thing that we put in there. They allows that enfumbe, but is it enfumbe that we are sending, or is it engando en wow, fatu fatu? Engando en wow, busca rostro. Hey, salam alaikum. Malaikum Bakwenda and Sara, Tata Endi. So there's a little tratado, it's a little piece of bamboo that nowadays a lot of people have changed it and said that tratado is now to measure the temperature of Nganga. And that's the reason why we put mercury in there. Either Nganga is hot or Nganga is cold. And when that thing goes up and explodes, uh, there's something that you have to do real quick, right? But there's an old tratado, and that's like, Sembumba no tiene pie, chacho como camina, Sembumba no tiene pie, tata como camina. Y con eso se lo dije todo, right? Um, that engando en wow, busca rostro. Perro en ganga, busca rastro. Okay? A lot of people might not agree with readings from a distance. Hey, that's fine, right? Everybody has their own way, their own tratado, uh, their own understanding. When I first started this tradition, my elders like Quenda, Quenda, Quenda. Okay. And then when I joined another Munanso, my elder was like Quenda, Quenda, Quenda. Padrino, why? Because of this and this and this. Yunganga has this for this reason and this reason, right? It's the same thing. When I initiate a godchild, we create what we call a masangano. And the masangano has rostro, it has menga, it has a piece of their hair, it has a piece of their clothes, it has the enchufla, the blade that we use, and it has a lot more things in there. And we make this thing and it goes a revenganga. Well, I already have the rostro on my godchild. Now, en fumbe fatu fatu, he knows. And in fumbe, you understand? When we and fumbe goes, and I can't talk a lot about that because I'm talking over the top. But like I said, if you guys don't, it's fine. I mean, it's how you feel comfortable. I'm not here to judge anyone or to tell people what to do. Okay. Um, Everybody has their style. So for me, it's Quenda. Because as soon as I embonda, arriba enganga, and I tell the enganga, today, and I go with my embonda, right, or licencia, and then I throw a cast and I say, are you Quenda? If enganga says, no, I'm not Quenda. Okay, I'm sorry I can't reach you. Here's your money back. But if enganga says, Quenda, let's go. Pop, pop, let's do it. Malegomba Quenda and Sara to everyone. Mhm. Okay, so now enganga says, let's start reading. And normally, how do I start my readings? I'll say, I'm going to start with a general reading. Because previous to that, in my app or my services, they have to give me their full name and birthday. So I am Bonda with Nganga. Today I'm doing a spiritual reading or registro for this person, blah, 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 blah. Born on this day, blah, 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 blah. You Quenda, Quenda. Okay, I'm going to start with a general reading. I don't want you to tell me anything. And I start my reading. Tat, 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 tat. 80% of the time after I'm done, I'm like, you have any question? Nope. You hit everything on the nail. You told me everything that I needed. And this is another thing. A lot of people come with problems that they already know, and they expect those problems to come in the reading part. And Fumbe's like, I don't care about your problems. Those are nothing compared to this problem that I'm telling you. Or and Fumbes is like, this is the beginning and the roots of all your problems. Once you take care of this, you'll fix everything else. Okay, so that's one thing. That's one topic I want to touch. The other topic I want to touch is on something that I just saw. Tata Andy, great video, by the way, the one that you just posted about the Ngangas. And with your permission, I'm going to touch a little bit of that. Um, and it's like when you go and initiate, what is the Nganga you're supposed to get? And like Tata Andy says, every Munanso has their own ways. For example, in I'm Munanso, one of the first Ngangas, good, Quenda. One of the first Ngangas you get. See, this is where people don't understand. We use the name like Siete Rayo, Centella, Cubayende, Luceros as a short name because we hide the real name of a Venganga. Like if you go in history, you'll see Maria, Maria blah blah blah, Maria Siete Empaca, José Viramundo, eh, Severino Rompeloma. Okay, for example, Brahma con Brahma is not Siete Rayos. That's a short name that describes a certain tratado, a certain energy. But the real name of the Nganga is Brahma con Brahma. And it has Yerba Mala, Nunca Muere, Quien Pisa, Revienta, blah, blah, blah. That's the whole name of the Nganga, right? For example, if I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you an Nganga, and the name of the Nganga is going to be Joselito Viramundo Monte Oscuro. And like I said in my video, todas Ngangas son mismo lucero, because when we start to do the ceremonies of the four winds, to tie those four winds, para amarrar los cuatro vientos, at certain hours, okay? Si en Bumba no tiene pie, chacho, ¿cómo camina? Okay. En Bumba, abuela, abuela. Might be too much for you guys. Um, there are certain tratados that, in my case, and I'm not saying this is the right way. I don't claim to know everything here. Where Tata Andy mentioned the Ensila Congo. So, how do I do it? I'm gonna make that enganga accordingly to your need. For example, if you're in Ensila Congo, it says that you are always gonna have issues when it comes to your financial. Engo Briumba Teverino. Ndoki Yaya, Lembe Yaya Tata Matamba. If you're in Sila Congo, it says, listen, your whole entire life you're gonna have issues in your financials. Me, does it make sense that I'm gonna make an Nganga and put the same Isila Congo that you have? Or do I switch the Ensila Congo and in the Patipemba and the Sejo, I put an Isila Congo and Ensila Congo that would be reversed. That Nganga and the Ensila Congo and that Nganga will now balance your issues. Which way does it make sense to you? Do I put the same Ensila Congo that you are born with, and that Nganga is gonna continue giving you issues, or I change the Ensila Congo, right? Do I change the Ensila Congo for that Nganga to have the opposite effect? And on the day of the initiation, your initiation, do I give you the same Ensila Congo or do I change it for better? I hope it makes sense. We're talking a little bit over the top, talking a lo calladito, porque calladito se ve más bonito. Um, but everybody has different ways, a different understanding. What a lot of ganguleros nowadays do this, they make a copy of the Nganga they received, which is fine, because if that's a lineage Nganga and you're gonna copy your Nganga, cookie cuttering, copying everything your pa has and say, here you go, then I am giving my godchild a spirituality or an energy that is not Quenda with him, that it doesn't go with him. When that I received that Nganga, when I received Kuwayende, Patilemba, when I received that Nganga, it was made to my needs. This is the name of Mambe Engo Priyumba Teverino. It's a name instead of saying Sarabanda. Cuenda en Dokiaya. Um, pero hay tratado que no se puede decir porque aquí hay muchos copycats, right? Oh, like you say in the video, ¿cómo se llama? What was it that you say? Briyumba, eh, I can't come with a name. Se comió a Mambay, no, se comió a Engo como, creo que fue en Finda, se comió a Mambay, ¿verdad? I saw that in that live video, Matamba. Eh, a little cold talks with Matamba here, but unfortunately, I can't say those things here, right? Matamba has different tratados, Andy has different tratados, this other person has different tratados. But I want to put my 2 cents. Um, so why am I gonna go ahead and say, let me open my Nganga and see what my Nganga has, and I'm gonna build every Nganga that way. Same fondo canasta, same engandos, same kiringandos, same encunias. But what if your Encila Congo says you cannot use this encunia? If your Encila Congo says this person cannot use palo bobo, this person cannot use espanta muerto, this person cannot use palo amargo, this person cannot use a type of bejuco. And now you're copying an Nganga exactly like yours, and you put in these things that might not agree. Yes, yes, exactly. Thank you, Matamba. My head is like all over the place. Now you're copying in this Nganga, and you put in a copy of yours and giving it to your godchild. and those things might not agree. And that's why here in Armunanso, and I'm not criticizing anybody, don't misunderstand. But I also want you guys to see different points of view. And no way I'm disrespecting Andy. Andy is my bro, you know. Um, Great video. But I just want to go and give more detail to it and probably why somebody would use Encila Congo. Not as that is wrong on the way you guys receive it. At the end of the day, the important thing is that Nganga walks. Let's cut the bullshit off. Let's cut all the bullshit. The important thing about Nganga is that there's something in there and it walks. De que haya muerto, que haya enfumbe, that when you walk into the room, you feel that energy. At the end of the day, that's what it matters. And then we could debate about whether it uses Encila Congo, why it doesn't, why it's a copy of your Padrino. But I just want to touch reasons why I might use Encila Congo. And that is to help you with the needs that you have. And at the end of the day, if your Encila Congo says, I'll give you an example. Your fuerte or your energy is very strong in water, but your energy on earth is very low, it's closed. So now I gotta figure a way to balance the energies of earth. Hope you understand. Balance the energy of earth. So now you have the balance of water and earth. If Yoncila Congo says, I'm gonna give you another example. Yoncila Congo says that fire is your best ally. Okay? And fire, when added to water, water will destroy the fire. So why am I gonna be? I'm gonna concentrate more on the fire element. And what represents fire? In our tradition, what represents fire? But what kind of fire are you? Meaning, where is that energy of fire that gives you that strength? Is it a forest fire? Is it the fire of a volcano? Is it a fire of um that a lightning thing came and created fire? Whatever. If your energy is water, Quenda. But which of those waters is it that goes with you? Is it a river? Is it a lake? Is it where the river meets the ocean? Here's an example. Another one. Lango malo. Lango malo, is it where death occurs in the water? Bayou, the bayou. Is it where a river runs to a cemetery? And I'm gonna say, look, your energy, where you want to work a lot of your stuff, is gonna find a river that is next to a cemetery. You're gonna have to go and work at the bayou because that's where your strength is. Now I'm gonna get stuff on the bayou and stuff, put it in there. But I'm not gonna call that Enganga Centella. We just use that for a short name. I'm gonna call it Lango Malo Vida Mundo en Batalla. That's the real name of the pot. But for our enemies, Centella and Doki. And then now we create a pot and then we make a fake patipemba in the front to throw everybody else. Because the one that matters is Fondo Canasta. And again, I'm gonna go back. I just wanted to rephrase a little bit that to give my opinion. No disrespect to no one. Because Matamba might have a different explanation. And I'm like, damn, bro, I didn't think about that. Holy shit. But I'm not going to get into an argument with Matamba and say, hell no, man, I don't agree with that. Because when I speak to Matamba, I'm like, shit, man, I didn't know about that. I didn't think about that. Now I'm going to say, yo aprende, aprenda. I learned something. I learned a different tratado. I learned a different understanding. I learned a different way. How can I use that? Because that's what the Congo did. When the Congos came to Cuba, they saw something that happened with en Arara. They took the best of it. They saw a lot of things that happened in Ifa. They took some of that. They saw something that happened in Ocha. They took some of that. In Cuba, there were voodoo practitioners. They took a little bit of that because the tradition, the practice has to evolve. And that's the reasons why we talk. It's no argument. It's like, oh, I didn't see it that way. I never understood that way. Now, how can I get a little bit of that? Well, Tata, I don't agree with that. Half of the things that you said are bullshit, but I like this. Let me grab that. Because 100%, there's always a percentage of something that is gold or diamond. The other percent is trash. To everyone, different things. Salam alaikum, Malongo Yaya, Akawa Cuento, quien Zambia lo gustara, con mucho más simene. But going back to the spiritual readings, let me open the window a little bit because I do have some dry ice here, and I'm like, the dry ice, dry ice is getting me breathless. I forgot I have dry ice in the car. Um, there are some people that don't like to do readings, and I understand because they want the person to be there, and so Nganga feels that, and you have that connection with Nganga, and the muerto is leke leke, the muerto is en bonda with you. I understand, but if I have to say, agree with, yeah, I could take a picture and get a bottle and clean the person and do a patipemba. Why? Because a patipemba opens a dimensional door. A dimanga opens a dimensional door. And through that dimensional door that opens, and then it opens up like we are in the series of Doctor Who, right? And this dimension opens up, this other portal, and boom, you tap into that person and you suck that infumbe. If I have to agree with that, it's Quenda. Exactly. That's why we network. That's why we share. That's why we learn. Now I could suck that in Fumbe because I opened a dimensional door and sucked it into a bottle, and voila, I just cleaned someone for 4,000 miles away. Then why can't I send in Fumbe or en Gando en Wow to Boca Rastro and then come in Bonda? Because it doesn't mean that I have to send it and then wait. All right, let me wait 30 minutes to that en Gando en Wow, that in Fumbe comes. No, because I already opened a dimensional door and that in Fumbe is just there. Why? There's something very important. When we go through ceremonies, we go through teremene. Means that we die in the world of the living to enter the world of the dead, and then again we are reborn in the world of the living. And this is something I told my godchildren this year. I mean, this past week. When you open that door to where Nganga is, the door to the Munanso, I'm no longer Carlos, because now I'm stepping into the world of the dead. Now that third person that accompanies me is his that's his territory. That Mfumbe that walks with me, that's his territory. Now I am Patilemba Tesamundo Yeremiko Mfumbe Siete Fuka. I'm no longer Carlos. I changed the character. I put on the mask. Now in that world, I'm not there anymore. That's the world of Enfumbe. That's the world of the muerto. When I get out of the Munanzo, now I open the door, go into the regular home. Now I'm Carlos. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Because we live in two different worlds. The regular life is the world of the living. Once you end up Munanzo, you enter the world of the dead. You enter the realm of the dead. But anyways, a little food for thought. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm not disagreeing with anybody. I'm giving you my personal opinion, my personal thoughts. Whether you agree with it or if you don't, you have every right to. Because the one that you're supposed to listen to at the end of the day is the knowledge that was passed down to you by your elder and what you have learned and works for you from experience. And that's it. Y que buena sombra y que lo con casi lo gutara con mucho más simene. Que en Sami en Pungo lo gutara con mucho más simene. You have a wonderful day.